In an increasingly technological world, technology is growing. Technology is a part of everything. How does spirituality find its place in this world of technology and science? Where do you guys see religion going, or how do you see religion possibly adjusting for all these new developments, if at all? Damien,
I'll take a shot. I'll take a shot.
go right
Right,
ahead.
Yeah,
yeah, no,
and then Damian, you could.
yeah,
Because
because I think I already started to kind of prime up that discussion a little bit. So go through, Anthony.
And I kind of make some notes as we go through and we talk. I kind of myself. I think first I'll talk with the spiritual aspect, then I'll get to the religion aspect. I think I don't think technology changes us as individuals or desire for spirituality. And I think in many ways, what the internet and technology has allowed for is access to different communities beyond our local, neighborhoods or community. So we could tap into different people who have similar belief system. And again, when I say spiritual, it doesn't have to be religion. We'll talk about religion shortly. So it gives us access to communities, right? It gives us access to information. So not only do you get the communities, but you don't have to wait for somebody to teach you. Quite frankly, a lot of time the information itself is accessible and there. And so what you have is on a larger scale, larger groups of people coming together because of this ability to tap into whoever groups our belief system. And I think for many people, they could have that spiritual connection, as a group with somebody who's millions of miles away, right? I mean, people are going to be listening to this on the internet. Technically, you could be in Africa, you could be in Saudi Arabia, you could be wherever. And just as how people could tap into this, if we're having some type of a gathering, whether it be like a meditation type thing or some type of virtual experience, you could tap into that for anywhere. So I don't think that changes us as spiritual beings, right? From a religious standpoint now, and again, this is my assessment. I don't have numbers to back this up, but I think that with technology, I think what it also has, it comes with a lot more distraction, and I don't even think we have grasped the ramifications of just the internet and television just yet, right? Because I think there's a concept called ontological design where it says the things we design also designs us. You know what I mean? So it's almost like every time my son comes to use my computer, he always touches my screen because he's used to a touch screen computer. So it drives his behavior. And I think a huge part of that is that we are just so distracted with everything else that these things that we design is going to, I think from a focus standpoint, it's going to be taking us from what used to be the routine religious type of thing, right? So, for example, if you have a structure, let's say stay with religion for a while. If for example, part of your religion is going to church a certain time, going to all these different things, or reading your Bible, and I'm using that from a Christian context, but it could be Torah or whatever other religious text you have. And instead of doing that, you're scrolling. Then that kind of takes you out of religion. And I think that huge part of it is the distraction element takes you out of the rigor that usually comes with religion, traditional, structured religion. So I think definitely is going to affect it. I think it's going to take a lot more willpower to stay on path. Because it's just so easy to get distracted. Quite frankly, a lot of the apps are on your phone and it's on your iPad. And in between going for the phone and the iPad, you might have a Instagram thing that pops up and you want to read it, right? So I think a huge part of that is I don't think spirituality changed. I just think we tap into different groups. But I think it will have a profound, is my assessment at least, a profound effect on religion. Generally, I mean, education, I mean, all these different institutions, because I think people are more distracted now more than ever before. And by the way, these apps and these things are designed to pull you away from your routine, right? So that's where I think technology comes in. So again, I think it doesn't change the spiritual aspect because you became a bunch of good things together. You're having some, out of body experience because your team win. You know what I mean? So I don't think it changes spirituality, but I think it will affect religion, like it will any other institutions, because people won't be focusing as much. That's my take on it, at least.
Right. You use a very interesting term there, Anthony. Distracted. One may contend that it's not even a distraction; it's probably an awakening, right? That people have become awoken to new ways of thinking, and so they are now asking these tough, hard questions that perhaps one would have in a smaller circle. But with technology now puts you into these broader rooms, these broader cyber rooms where you can ask these tough, hard questions about religion. So I think that certainly religion has taken a hit with the advancement of technology. Pew does a lot of research. Pew Research in 2022 noted that Christianity among Americans has fallen from 78% people said that they are Christians to 63% over a 20-year span, right? That's from 2002 to 2022. It also noted in the same survey that 70% of Americans do, though, identify themselves as being spiritual beings. So I think what we see happening is a kind of inverse relationship, right? That with technology, as religion kind of plummets or goes down, that spirituality seems to be on the rise. Because people still, we cannot divorce ourselves from our spiritual being, as we spoke about earlier, right? Those things that drive, that shape empathy, love, hate, jealousy, our conscience, justice, all those sorts of things, that we can't throw those out because it's just part of who we are. And so on one hand, the technology certainly is impacting both of these two dualities we spoke about. Religion, I think it certainly has given it a gut punch, and so you're seeing some decline in numbers, yes, among people who are, in other words, there are new adherents to Christianity, new adherents to Buddhism, new adherents to Confucianism. But here's the thing on the same coin. What technology is doing is those who have already hunkered down, those who already say that they are Christians, say that they are Hindu, say that they are Buddhist, that technology helps them to sharpen, yes, their religious beliefs. Because now, I have relatives who are in various different sects of Christianity, for example. I remember I went on vacation and they had their religious meeting at home. They didn't have to go into the assembly, in the assembly of the saints, as it were. So the technology, as you said, Gordon, is now allowing people to meet in diverse places. You don't have to get up and spend an hour getting ready to go and burn gas to go to, to the places of assembly. You can do it in your home, and so your home becomes your shrine. So in that way, those people who have already said, I am Christian, I am Hindu, I am Muslim, technology can help them to sharpen that, right? And it puts them in these echo chambers where they're with like-minded people. So that's one. But on the other hand, as we said, it's not bringing in new adherents because people are now questioning, people are now asking these tough, hard questions about these religious practices and what has been the merit, what has been the scorecard of Christianity in our lives. I mean, we look at what's happening now across the world, for example, in the Middle East, the Israel-Gaza war, for example. A number of people are now asking, wow, how could people who subscribe to any particular religious group or the other be engaged in this kind of a warfare? And this isn't new, right? I mean, mankind has always been in warfare. And religion has been part and parcel of these conflicts historically. So just to wrap up, I am saying that as we advance technologically, two things are happening to the two entities we're speaking of. That spirituality seems to be on the rise with technological advancement as people begin to question and seek answer and meaning to new things, right? And it's also allowing them to center themselves. At the same time, with religion, it is new adherents. More people aren't turning to religion necessarily, but those who already do, they are sharpening, they are hunkering down, and they are expanding among themselves. D Wise.
All right. So I think doing Anthony had mentioned distraction, right? That this can quickly become a source of distraction, which is true. And then Damien mentioned that it could be also considered a source of awakening because you just have access to this world of information, which is also true, right? And you can look at both sides of it, or you can look at it from both angles as far as what technology is doing and how that plays a role with the complexity of spirituality and religion as it already is. I tend to lean more on the side of this being more so an awakening, because I feel like people have access to information that previously they would not have had. As a person that grew up in the church, I can say probably, and I don't have the factual numbers to back this up, I'm just going by my experience. I would venture to say probably 50 to 60% of the people in the church do not know or understand the Bible. So, and I'm speaking specifically of Christianity. They don't know, they don't understand the Bible, they don't pick up the Bible and read the Bible. So no, you don't have to, because you can go on YouTube, and while you're driving your car, you can listen to the Bible, right? So to me, it's more of an awakening because you have access to something that previously you would not have access to. Now, in some countries where resources are not readily available, and some people might not, we still have people that can't read, right? We still have people that may not be able to afford a Bible in a translation that they understand. If you have access to YouTube on a phone, now you can get the information, right? So I think, in a sense, the technology is creating this space and this wave of awakening where anybody who's interested can get the information. So I think what's going to happen, what's going to determine if you're going along the lines of a distraction or if you're going along the lines of an awakening, is the mind of the individual. Are you an individual that wants to learn? Are you an individual that's seeking? Or are you an individual that just want to pass time? And you want to be in the loop with the next best story or drama or the next
Or gossip or whatever,
gossip or the next media topic that's just going viral, as we say, right? So I think this depends heavily on the individual. I know for me personally, the fact that technology is where it is today, it has helped me, because now, to be honest with you, I don't have to go to a library if I want to do research, right? I mean, books are still good. I still like books, but I mean, you can do sufficient research within minutes, right? It's not where it used to be. No, that being said, right? Just like in the olden days or throughout history, we had people who have this particular goal, or they're driven by power and control. People like to say people are driven by money. Some people are, but for people, to me, in the higher echelon of society, they're smart enough to know that money is just a tool of measurement. All money does is measure value, right? Power and control is the ultimate source, right? That gives you access to whatever it is you want in this world. So if you have the power and you have the control over the systems, then you can structure laws and you can structure things in a way that drives resources towards you, and in a sense make it difficult for other people to gain access to resource. Now, those people also have the internet, right? Those people also have the information. And a part of what I think is going to be very important is where the information that you're getting, where it's coming from, and who controls that information. Because I still think there's an effort to keep knowledge at a certain level. Because if we are to fully understand self, if we're to fully understand our connection to this world, if we're fully to understand the power that's in each individual from a spiritual perspective, I'm not even talking about religion, right? I'm talking about just what we can accomplish. And Dwayne Anthony had said that any individual can accomplish anything they want in this world with the proper mindset, right? Just from that perspective, it would make sense as to why there are people who wouldn't want us to have the type of information that would make it easy for us to manifest the things that we desire, or would make it easy for us to recognize that the best thing for us, for the majority, is for us to come together, to work together, to be at peace with one another, even if we have some difference in belief.